Hello everyone, this is Shoddy Noctales, and tonight I wanted to make a special video in particular. This video is something that I have thought about for a wee bit now, but I feel like now um, would be a good time to essentially speak about it, and I think it's important. So it carries a lot of energy, indeed. And I think that we have to understand that a lot of our stories, that a lot of our souls have gone through, whether it's Celtic or Norse or African or Chinese, Japanese, Native American, um, all these different cultures throughout the world. We've all had our own struggles that we've had to go through, all of us. And I think that being able to recognize that first and foremost is important. Now, we've all made mistakes, that much is true, but we've also all have contributed things for the better. And I say this because I know right now that there are a lot of people um, who have thrown hatred, in particular towards the Norse people, specifically the Vikings at the moment, because there's a lot of misunderstandings of who they are. And I think that people fail to understand what it is, who they really are, because although the Vikings have made mistakes like everyone else, and Bjorn mentions that in some of his videos, um, there have been good things that they have done. And one thing I can remember, at least from my past life, is whenever, even though we fought with them at first when they were invading the Isles, there was a time where they did become, some of them did become our Celtic friends and joined us in unity to defend our homeland. And at that moment, I really didn't see a difference between us, because in that moment we were defending what we believed was important to defend in unity. That's what I remember. And so a lot of times when I've spoken to some of my Viking friends, or I'd call them Celtic friends, but I think about Lilium and what he told me long ago, and he said he mourned that he wouldn't be able to reach the gates of Valhalla because of how he felt like he had dishonored himself. And what I told him was this: It's not how great you once stood that makes you worthy of Valhalla, but it's how you picked yourself up even when you fell into the depths. And I think in that moment, my words helped him, even if only a little, because I could see the torment that was in his mind, and a soul that just wanted to be listened to. And I could understand that full well. And with Bjorn, what I see in him, he is a soul that wants people to see him for his heart, not just for what he looks like. And I think that is also something that also a lot of the Africans I've listened to, uh, whether African American or from Africa, say the same thing. And see, in that respect, there's no difference when you can see the color that they share, that they both want to be seen for who they are and not just be judged by what's on the outside. And for me, with Bjorn or the Africans, I just don't see what they call a white guy with pale skin, uh, a light hair color, and a certain eye color. No, I see a friend and a brethren, because I know deep down he has a good heart. And the same thing with the Africans I've listened to. I just don't see a person with dark hair or brown or black skin or dark eyes. I see a person with a good heart there, and a person that means well, and a friend. So in that respect, there's an interconnectedness that connects us together. And that's why I use the Celtic notes for the thumbnail as a rainbow. Because I feel like that rather than there being this separation of I am better than you, I think what really makes us stronger is I am together with you. And that's what made the Celts and the Norsemen that joined us, that's what helped make us strong back then when we joined in unity to defend the Isles. That's what I remember. And so, I hear a lot of the Africans are trying to do something similar, is trying to unify their own people together. Just like the Celts and Norse became our Celtic friends once did. And see, in that respect, it's the same message. Same message. And so, if we can see that message, whether Celt, whether Norse, whether African, or even Native American. I listened to a Native American elder of these lands in America, of the Onondaga and Seneca, if I'm remembering correctly. Chief Loins. And he said that in his tribe, when they would make an agreement, they would want it to be unanimous. And I can see that now. Just like in that moment, us Celts and the Norsemen who became our Celtic friends, we had a unanimous decision to defend the Isles. And so in that respect, the message is the same. Isn't that funny? And so, I think that seeing someone for their character, for their heart, is what is most important. And so, I hope in time, rather than people having this black and white dichotomy that they live in, like living in a black and white film, I hope in time they can see the color of the tribes, of themselves, of the world around them, really see color and see the green of the Irish, the blue of the Scottish, um, the green of the Welsh, or the red of the Welsh rather, and so many other colors out there that still live. And once that black and white film is dismantled, and once people can shift their perceptions of souls, seeing of how they see souls and individuals, I think that will change things for the better. And it will take time. It will take time, but I feel like the time will come when that can happen. And so that's why I think it's so important to see someone for their heart. And I just think about Bruce Fumi. He had a Ghanaian father from Africa, and he had a Scottish mother from Scotland. And I can tell you, he's one of the most Scottish people I have ever seen. And he is my Celtic friend indeed. Because I know deep down he has a good heart. And to me, that's what matters the most. And so, there's no difference there when you can see that. And so for me, it's kind of like how my friend Lilium told me one time. Even though I walk a Celtic path and he walks a Norse path. And we talked back and forth, he said, you and I are the same. And I think I can see that now. Because what he meant is, deep down, what he ultimately wishes is very similar to what I wish. And it is there to be unity amongst the tribes and color to return. Yes. And I can see that now. And I hope he can see his own heart as well. And it's a it's a journey that will take time. I was actually listening or relearning Irish today and watched this ASMR video where they were essentially the YouTuber was saying colors in Irish, and when I spoke those Irish words, it's as if I already knew them, because I do. I really do believe that. Whether it was bui, which is yellow, whether it's down, which is brown, um, gurum, blue, and a host of other colors as well that I believe will be re-remembered and relearned in time. But yes, those were a few of the words. And just listening to them, it kind of reminded me of what my mum's friend Josephine told me a wee while ago. A Scottish, well, Australian woman, but with Scottish ancestry. Um, she told me, you and I are connected. And I didn't exactly know what she meant at the time. Or I did, I guess, deep down, but I didn't fully understand it as of yet. Because I thought in my past life that um, most of my experiences were mainly Irish, or, well, Celtic, of course, but in the eye of Éire, I guess is a better way to say it. Because I do see myself as Celtic, but not necessarily Irish. Or, I guess what I'm trying to say is that I was a Celtic warrior who did live in Ireland long ago, but the identity of a Celt, at least in my eyes, was a wee bit different than how the Irish see themselves today, is maybe a better way to put it. And she said, Josephine, you do remember the Celtic language, you just don't know it yet. And then here's this Australian Scottish woman telling me that. And I was like, well, I thought my life was only in Éire. How could someone from Alba say you and I are connected? But then the more I listened to the Scottish, and the more they talked about the heart, especially Bruce when he said, I know I'm Scottish because of who I am in my heart. In that moment, I felt the same. Because that's what I say as well. So you see there's that interconnectedness where it's no longer just, oh, I'm Irish or oh, I'm Scottish. Because there are, unfortunately, some modern day Irish Americans or even Irish that only see Irishness. I don't like that word. I only don't like it because of how it tends to be used sometimes. I guess what I'm trying to say is they only see the isolated part of themselves without seeing the interconnectedness that is present. And if you would forsake one of your closest kin, being, for example, being the Scottish or being the Picts, then you kind of lose a part of yourself there. And isn't that a shame? And so that's when we have to really, rather than saying, as I've said before, rather than saying, I am better than you, I think it's better to say, no pun intended, I am together with you. And I would like to let you know that I would like to understand you as you understand me, and see the good in your heart, like you can see in mine. Same is true with the Welsh. I It's been very rare that I've met anyone who has a deeper heart than the Welsh. And I can only think about my friend Ben. I mean, of course, he doesn't consider himself Welsh, but his mother was Welsh, or his mum. And he and his mum had some of the deepest hearts that has ever been shown to me. And when I needed help, when I needed someone to be there, he was there. And not only him, but also my friend Remy. She said, "You're one of my brethren." And that meant a lot. Because now it wasn't just a Scottish Australian woman saying that. It's also a Welsh woman from Wales saying the same thing. We're connected. You're one of my brethren. Isn't that funny? But in that moment, I felt a lot of acceptance in my heart and the love in that moment. And so now we have the Norse Viking William. We have Josephine. And we have Remy. All sharing similar messages. Yeah. And then I think about my spiritual mother Morgan, who came to me in what I felt like was the underworld at the time. And she came in the form of a crow and fed me from what no longer served. And then she transformed into the form of a raven, then into a form of a woman with long dark hair. And she helped me come back to my roots, come back to who I am, and to honor myself as I went through that long dark tunnel with her into the light, into a new beginning. And so, what I'm saying now is that it's not only just about being Irish or being Scottish or Welsh or even being Celtic, but also sharing ourselves with the Norse, African, Asian, Native American brothers and sisters who wish to continue understanding us as well, and to see what we all share unanimously throughout the earth. And so, I might leave a short video in the description box of the part in Lord of the Rings for anyone who hasn't seen the film series. It's, at least in my opinion, a decent film series indeed. But I think about the moments in the film where it says, "You have my sword, and you have my bow, and you have my axe." And I think now more than ever, the unity of the tribes coming together again, I think will make us stronger and more united than ever before, as we all go into a new beginning. And with that, I will end the video for now. Hope you all take care. Slán go fóill. Bye for now, guys. Bye for now.